from a newly discovered eighth continent to a whole new form of matter. Today, we look at the 10 most mind-blowing discoveries from 2017. Number 10. Crispr. Imagine being able to prevent disease and genetic defects before a human is even born. Well, in 2017, scientists made significant strides towards being able to edit our genes. Chinese scientists became the first to successfully use a new gene editing tool called Crispr, Cas9. Crispr is an injectable DNA construct that can alter the genes of humans and other living organisms. Specifically, it uses an enzyme to remove the part of the DNA that isn't working properly or is damaged, and then replaces it with a new DNA sequence. The Chinese successfully used this tool to complete the first 2 steps in process designed to treat a patient with lung cancer. The United States plans on conducting their first trial using CRISPR in the coming months, and many see this research as the leading component of a new international science race between the US and China. Number 9. Another Earth? The quest to find life outside of our own planet ramped up in 2017 as astronomers discovered 3 new Earth-like planets. These planets are around 40 light-years away, orbiting the star TRAPPIST-1, and are perfectly situated within the Goldilocks zone, or the location most likely to support life like ours. The planets were discovered by the Belgian astronomer Michael Gillen and a team of researchers when they noticed them as shadows dimming the light in front of TRAPPIST. Though not much can be inferred about the 3rd planet of the group that is farthest away from the star, they have been able to deduce that the first 2 planets are about the same size as Earth, and though they probably receive as much as 4 times the radiation from the star as we do our Sun, they are in the prime area to potentially host liquid water. Unfortunately, we can't yet get an up-close and personal look at the planets, as with our current space travel capabilities, it would take millions of years to reach them. Number 8. Fountain of Youth. What if your body would age to a certain point and then have the ability to trigger a process that reverses the aging process, theoretically letting you live forever? Well, this idea may not be the stuff of science fiction for long, as there is a new therapy that has been proven to work in mice that reverses their aging. Scientists at Harvard University have been studying a compound with almost miraculous anti-aging abilities called NAD+. They found that when they increased the levels of this naturally occurring chemical in mice, that not only did the test mice appear younger than other mice their age, but there were signs that their DNA's ability to repair itself increased, and the deterioration caused naturally by aging in their muscles was reversing. So what does this mean for humans? Well, a company named Metro Biotech has developed a similar compound to NAD+, and put it in a capsule, with plans to test it on humans in the near future. Number 7. Zealandia. How many continents are there? Up until 2017, the correct answer would be 7. But due to the efforts of geoscientists, our geography books might soon be adding 1 more. This is the continent of Zealandia, and though over 90% of it is submerged under the Pacific Ocean, the scientific community has officially recognized it as the 8th geological continent. How can Zealandia be a continent despite its underwater nature? Well, it meets the 4 requirements of the definition of a continent. First, its crust must be thicker than 7 kilometers, and Zealandia's crust averages about 20 kilometers in thickness. Second, it must be made up of several different types of rocks and mineral, which it is. Third, it must be isolated from other continents via prominent geological features. It is very close to the continent of Australia. However, it is separated by Caddo Trough, which is well over 3,000 meters in depth. Fourth, and the most critical parameter, is that it has to be significantly elevated over the oceanic crust, which it is, even though it is covered in ocean. If you want to visit Zealandia, the largest portion of it that isn't underwater is the southern island of New Zealand. Number 6. Useful mucus. What does the slimy skin of a frog have to do with curing one of the most devastating illnesses around today? It turns out more than you would probably guess, as scientists have found a specific chemical in the mucus of one particular frog. The frog known as Hydrophilus bayuvastara is found in the southern regions of India, and in the mucus that its skin secretes, there is an antimicrobial peptide that has some astonishing qualities. The chemical is made up of amino acids and has been found to annihilate a considerable variety of influenza A viruses. Amazingly, the peptide also hasn't been found to have any ill effects on the red blood cells of humans. The team of scientists who have been studying the chemical have named it Uramin, after a type of blade used in a type of Indian martial arts. Although it has proven quite effective, it still will probably be years before Uramin passes through all the necessary trials in order to be approved for use in hospitals and doctors' offices. Number 5. Water harvester. Imagine being stuck in the Sahara Desert without fresh water around for miles. But instead of succumbing to dehydration, as you would have likely done in the past, you take a device out of your backpack, flip a switch, and voila! An instant glass of water. Though this is an exaggerated example, the possibility is closer than you think, as research teams from the University of California, Berkeley, and MIT invented a machine that can literally suck water from thin air. This is called the solar-powered harvester and has even proven to be effective in places with lower than 20% humidity. The gizmo is made using an innovative material known as metal organic framework, which has incredible gas and liquid storing power. The solar-powered harvester uses the framework for storage and then the process of diffusion and condensation to siphon water from the air. As of now, the device is only in its prototype phase, but that hasn't stopped research teams and companies all over the world from trying to replicate it and improve its design. Number 4. Human-pig hybrid. What if, when a human heart becomes irreparably damaged or infected by a disease like cancer, doctors could just replace it with a brand new heart that they picked off a tree? Well, the tree notwithstanding, the idea of being able to grow replacement organs like crops took another giant leap forward in 2017. As scientists created the first human-pig hybrid. What may sound like something horrifying and straight out of the island of Dr. Moreau actually isn't what it seems. Yes, the scientists put human DNA into the embryo of a swine. But you don't have to worry about man-bear-pig showing up at your doorstep anytime soon. The true end game is creating a pig that has organs almost identical to a human's that can be used as transplants for patients in need. The first human-pig hybrid was created by combining the cells of two species inside a pig embryo, creating what is scientifically known as chimera. The project is still in the petri dish phase as of now, but scientists have previously been successful in growing organs that have the DNA of one species inside of another. In one case, they were able to introduce the tissue of a rat's pancreas and have it grow inside the body of a mouse. These pancreases were then used as transplants for mice suffering from diabetes. If you imagine the extreme possibilities, doing this using a pig as a surrogate for human tissue could make vital organs essentially replaceable, like the parts of a machine. Number 3. Time crystals. We have known that there are 3 forms of matter for years now, but a newly discovered 4th state may change the way chemistry and physics are approached forever. Before, there were only liquids, gases, and solids, but you can now add time crystals to the list. No, this isn't a Jim Henson movie. Scientists discovered a type of matter they are calling time crystals, also known as a non-equilibrium state of matter, which can exist at the same state endlessly without expending energy. What started out as a theoretical brain teaser that scientists and mathematicians have long wrestled with on paper became a physical reality in the lab in 2017. This is when the physics at UC Santa Barbara proudly announced that they had created what is now known as time crystals by essentially shooting high-powered lasers at diamonds. The time crystals can only be created for mere instants as of now, but the possibilities for technological applications are infinite. This discovery will undoubtedly open the doors for new theories on time, new advances in quantum computing, and the ways we can store information. Number 2. Aerosol Epidermis. The scarring and permanent damage done to the body from burning can be devastating physically and emotionally on burn victims, but a new invention may be able to drastically change the way these wounds are treated. Dr. Jörg Gerlich and his team of German researchers created a liquid treatment made of a patient's stem cells, which could be sprayed onto a burn wound and then assist in the rapid regeneration of skin with astoundingly fast results. Not only did the wound area accept the stem cells, with any complications once healed, the area looked almost identical to the patient's skin before the burn. This new method of healing burn wounds could make painful skin grafting a thing of the past, reduce infections, and help to prevent scarring better than any previously discovered method. So far, there has only been success with first and second degree burns, as third degree burns require regeneration of more complex tissue, like muscles. But because of this quick progression of the research on stem cells and tissue regeneration, it isn't hard to imagine that soon, the once sci-fi sounding idea of regenerating entire limbs and facial features could be a reality. Number 1. CAR-T. One of the biggest contributors to cutting our lives all too short is cancer, but dedicated research and a newly designed treatment may have given us a more powerful tool in the battle against it. This new treatment, called CAR-T, involves arming a patient's red blood cells to attack the cancer. The researchers remove some blood cells from a patient and then beef them up by giving them a chimeric antigen receptor that helps them hunt down cancer cells once they are reintroduced to the bloodstream. These souped-up cells can also replicate themselves millions of times over in order to keep fighting for months on end. The FDA recently approved this new form of immunotherapy for use in hospitals, as it has proven effective in fighting leukemia in children. Though there are some instances of relapse, the treatment has a remission rate of just over 80%. This method of supercharging our own immune systems will hopefully one day be successful at curing other types of cancer and diseases and make inconsistently effective and painful treatments like chemotherapy unnecessary.